Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are going to be beginning the narration and character voice acting for the Ending a Grand Overture story. Right then, so our epilogue for the main story Act 2, at least for the Victorian side, is here in the form of the Siege Altar story essentially, if you want to call it that. But yeah, this is definitely an epilogue and it's going to be covering events in Victoria after the conclusion of episode 14. So the usual question here at the beginning is pretty much immediately answered, and that is, do you need to know anything before going into this story? And I mean, yeah, this is an epilogue to the main story. Well, it's an epilogue that is covering Victoria and the post-war scene there. So all I can say is, if you don't want to get spoiled on the main story through this story, I would highly recommend finishing the main story all the way to the end of episode 14 and then coming back to this. Otherwise, this story will be mentioning stuff from there and it could spoil you. So, honest recommendation, finish main story first before heading into this. And that's all I can say to that. Outside of that, if you just want to listen to the story anyway, regardless of finishing main story up until the end of 14 or not, do so. I will not stop you. But do keep in mind, there will be mentions and stuff and developments that have already happened, and some events here might not make sense to you in that case. So, best thing I can recommend to you is put a pin in this episode or the playlist that will be in the description and come back to it once you're done. That's the best thing I can suggest. Outside of that, this is a pretty dense story, and I do like it quite a lot so far. And more on that once we get through the episode today. But before we also do so, however, I do want to say two things very quickly. Or a couple of very short things very quickly. Very important things. Number one, when it comes to spoilers for this story, I myself, as always, especially for the new people of the channel, and future new people, I only know as much as I know until I start recording the next episode. Everything you will see in this episode today is as much as I know of the current story of this thing. I do not know post it. That will come with the next episode. So please, if you're going to be commenting, comment on stuff that is in this episode. Don't make me notice that there is some kind of spoiler there. I will delete the comments. I'm keeping shit clean as much as possible, not just for myself, but also for other people, and I don't want to spoil them. And speaking of spoilers, very, very importantly, considering that this side story is currently out as over in the Chinese client of this game, we have chapter 15 of the main story. I would highly ask of anybody who knows stuff from over there, if you know the story, the spoilers, the CGs, anything from over there, keep it shut. Do not type me anything about that. It will be a nightmare. It is already a nightmare to stay away from any kind of spoilers or just accidentally hit spoilers for that thing for myself. And I don't want you to spoil anybody else on my channel about that. Please. This channel, for anybody who is new and listens to this right now, this channel is a safe haven. I do not do spoilers. I myself have not even seen the full trailers for this story until I'm done reading. That's just how I deal with shit. I'm too hyped for this game anyway. I do not need to see the trailers. I look at them when I'm done with the story. That's how I deal with this shit. But yeah, please, in all honesty, in all seriousness, please, if you know stuff from the Chinese client, do not say stuff. Personally, the only things I know from the Chinese client myself is incoming operators, like playable operators, not NPCs, but playable operators. That's all I know about the Chinese client, and obviously, you know, the story title card or name, even though I'm probably gonna forget them until they get back here to the global side of things. But yeah, spoiler stuff, please keep all of that away, and just leave comments in general of the current story and stuff like that, or questions if you have them, and that's about it. Thank you very much in advance. And sorry, I do need to say it because the internet has been rabid since the drop of episode 15. So yeah, I have to say stuff. But yeah, anyhow, let's head into our epilogue, shall we? So first off, I do want to point out a couple very quick things here before we head into our first story node. And yes, today's story will be covering from obviously the start to the first half of stage number 2. like I earlier said, this is a pretty dense story. The cutscenes are roughly 25 minutes to almost 40 minutes long in some case, and you'll see, there is a lot, and it's pretty interesting for certain aspects. I'm gonna talk about that at the end of the episode today. But yeah, our battle stages, by the way, are called Die a Hero or a Villain. Very appropriate. And you'll see why appropriate once we get into the story. But more importantly, in the background, we have a desk, we have a shit ton of pile of notes, and up in the top right it says Once Upon a Time in Victoria, and on the left it says Writer Kate Morrigan. So, if that doesn't already make it very obvious, this story will pretty much be told mostly through the eyes of, or rather through the written words of Morrigan and her memoirs on Vina Victoria. So yeah, it is gonna be a trip through a story that is technically a book. So that's already breaking my head, but anyway, it's a very interesting concept and works very, very well, as you're gonna see in a moment. And also there will be jumps in between time, and by that I mean because it's a romp through her memoirs. The story will be jumping through time, as in it will be jumping in the current present time after the war and to scenes that were taking place during the war. It will be very obvious when what is taking place. This story is genius because Hypergriff actually learned we have dates. And I legitimately mean we have a date, we have a month, and we have a year. With every time it jumps in between places. It is amazing, and I have only one question. Where was this up until now, Hypergriff? Where was this up until today? But yeah, it will be easy to follow. I always pronounce all of the dates that are gonna be jumping up on screen so you can hear them and know when we are. And yeah, this is a romp, so let's begin. Course of history. History is like a sailing ship adrift, the course of which no one can predict. Isabel Montague, loyal Victorian knight of the Tower, once said, "History is like a granary. It stands in silence amidst the bustling estate, an unremarkable sight with a somewhat unpleasant scent of mold, only ever thought of when stowing something away. Containment, silently containing things, is its sole purpose. As for people, they're like stalks of wheat growing out in the fields, brawling the elements so they might sprout those precious, precious ears. All you have experienced will become shining golden grain, stored within the granary called history. It's more apt to say that history is a showroom of human lives." Shining and golden? Yeah, I'd say that was a shining golden life. What follows is a couple of scenes through different places in time. Vina, the sword is yours. It is your destiny. Father, is this... Vina! The hell are you doing? Stop swinging already! You've nearly beaten him dead! Vina, it's time! Got it! Vina, who do you wish to be when you leave this palace? I choose... Perhaps this is how history runs its course. those caught up in its flow won't accept things as they are. They will resist it with all their might. But reality always comes crashing down, slamming you into the ground over and over. You've got no choice but to get back up and figure a way to stand firm. You know the fight will never end, and you've got to make ready for the next fist in your face. Until you've circled round and round to find yourself back where you started, albeit by some different path.
Wait, now that I think about it, Doctor might have said millstone. History is like a millstone? I forgot what metaphor she used exactly. Just that it's got to do with a mill or a windmill or something. The sort of thing that'll get people thinking of the sunset. Ah, forget it. I never much fancied the way she talks all year that like.
When all's done, I'm here to record this heart-pounding moment in history. As a witness to this particular point, as one who personally experienced some of these events, I felt the need to share the tale with those who come after. It's worth remembering, considering the many bitter lessons learned. It must not be forgotten, with too many painful sacrifices made. Safe to say, the story's so twisty and turny that if you weren't there to see for yourself, you'd never guess where it ended up.
Ah! I remember now! It was a ship! History is like a sailing ship adrift, and every age sees its share of experienced helmsmen who think to change its course. But in the end, none will truly ever know where the sunset and the river will take them. Ah, sod it. I don't need to copy the feel of those historical novels I read. It's my book. Why should I write it like how Vina's governess talks? Let me have a think on how I tell the story my way.
This here's a tale of how a hoodlum became a hero. It's also about courage, friendship, conviction, and power. The heir to the king leaves the palace, and when she returns home, she's already fit to be called hero, standing alongside her merry band of mates. This epic begins the summer of the year we left, in the factories of Londinium's Norpor borough.
They were the happiest days of my life. Manchester. Bristol. Got any more? Sheffield. No, Baird, give me a hint already. Vina, you really gonna watch me embarrass myself like this?
Hey, it's your bet. I can't say anything.
Baird's right. Wouldn't be fair otherwise. Don't give up now, Indra. Victoria's got at least 60 or so nomadic cities. If you can think of one more, you're a sixth of the way there. My whole life I've never left Londinium. It's my home. Why the hell would I remember what some cities miles away are called? You must be real fond of cleaning up the alleys back home, then. Damn it! I shouldn't be acting like a smartass. Oh, Hannah, do you still recall the time we went to the video shop after we were done duffing the Lane brothers up? I think I do. Didn't the film have a manor with white walls and a green lawn? Wasn't it some kind of romance? It just went on and on. Then do you remember what the leading lady loved eating the most at the nobles' banquets? Sidmo, butter, and vanilla roast fowl beast. Yeah, Sidmo, that's then. Vina. You really are the best when it comes to leading, Vina. I'll follow you my entire life, I will. No need to get all sappy on me now. Alright, Morgan, you lost. Here's your drink. You know Vina helped her out, Baird. Well, I have strings to drink. Morgan, it's your turn to pick up the protection money from the factories on Old Furley Road. Don't forget to clean up the alleyways behind All Hang's sandwich shop. It's times like these that Glasgow feels spread a bit thin. Ha! One day I'm gonna make all of Londinium into Glasgow gang turf, and all those fees will come straight to us, alongside the best sandwiches in the city. If you took all of Victoria under your wing, who do you even protect them from? The Gaulish? Maybe those naughty nobles? Who knows? Some tosser's bound to show off his face sooner or later. Norpor can't make do without us, and neither can Londinium. There'll come a day when Glasgow's the heroes of the whole city. Just you wait. Not wrong, I'd say. Indeed. Here's to the Glasgow gang, the most important gang in town. To the Glasgow gang!
Cavendish Manor. Did you enjoy the play? A Victorian Duke's daughter falls in love with a handsome Sarkaz youth. In order to eliminate this formidable rival, her would-be suitors conjure all sorts of dreadful devilish plots. Who would have thought the playwright who penned The Lady of Windsor could produce such a provocative work, albeit only after a hefty writer's fee? What do you think, Lady Ellerdale?
I can't say I'm too fond of the ending of Cemeteries of Londinium, Earl Morrel. Under the heavy hand of persecution, the Duke's daughter and the Sarkaz lad elope, united in death as they are buried together in a public cemetery. A conclusion that's far too formulaic.
Oh, I never expected a young lady such as yourself to have the taste of a haranguing critic. Is it not enough to bring tears to your eyes?
To whose eyes? Duke Cavendish's or the Sarkaz's regents? Tears will only serve to blind us, my lord, and are often an accomplice to popular works harboring ill intent.
A shame, truly. I was thinking you would have some empathy for the leading lady, but with her bound to a fate beyond her control. I'm so dreadfully sorry. Pray forgive my inadvertent offense. You must know that my family was once on good terms with the Cumberlands.
I don't really mind. It's common knowledge that Her Grace the Duke of Castor aided me at my lowest. I have only gratitude for her. I see no shame in my circumstances either.
Then, since you're taking part in today's festivities, may I take your words as Her Grace's own thoughts?
You may consider them a friendly reminder. Londinianers should be wary of those mercenaries from Casdell. Heaven forbid some ridiculous story to sow the seeds of pity and sympathy in their unwitting minds. Casdell is far, far away, and they simply don't understand the Sarkaz in the slightest. Do not allow tears to blind their judgment, my lord.
Your words would throttle a talented playwright.
Bringing the citizenry to tears would hardly be a difficult thing for a duke, I'd say.
Is this also Her Grace's opinion on the matter?
No matter what you might think of this playwright, I do believe The Lady of Windsor is a rare work of art. I wholeheartedly invite you, and perhaps Duke Cavendish, to give it a thorough read-through. Finns have not the limbs to drag themselves out of the swamp. Man has not the eye to see beyond time. If Duke Cavendish can understand these words and take them to heart, while keeping a wary eye on this matter, he can avoid becoming the next Duke Windsor. No offense meant, of course.
I must say, I quite enjoy your incisive view on this topic, Lady Ellerdale. The eye to see beyond time. A rare thing indeed. A comparison, a vision beyond one's means, is as cheap as chips, wouldn't you say?
I can't say I disagree.
Despite the many years that passed, there are still those who have not forgotten that Victoria once had a king. And there are those who carry the former heir to the throne in mind, alongside that sort of royal authority. Duke Castor's actions are hardly inscrutable. Whenever she dispenses advice to the other dukes, do not forget that there are eyes upon her in turn.
I will inform Her Grace, my lord. It's getting late. I fear I must be heading off.
Not staying for dinner, Lady Cumberland?
I have an appointment with my tailor to prepare some winter clothes. I'm sure you're aware that summer in Londinium lasts but a few fleeting days. But winter never comes late.
Then I shan't keep you any longer, my lady. I shall send a ticket for opening night to you beforehand. If Her Grace would like to watch, Duke Cavendish would happily sponsor the troupe to tour the Castle de Mesny.
I pray that Her Grace will not be blinded by her own tears. A most suffocating banquet, was it not? And who might you be? You may call me Clovicia. Based on that distinctive white hair of yours, you must be Lady Allerdale Cumberland. Madame Elshie of your estate has ordered some outfits for the upcoming season from our shop, but I'm afraid we haven't finalized the details of yours quite yet. Sorry, I couldn't help but overhear your conversation with Earl Morris. It seems your reputation as a critic of the arts is well earned. You flatter me. I presume you two are concerned about the present situation in Londinium. Hardly. It's just rather difficult to not listen in as the clientele discusses the recent changes when you work as a tailor's. It's getting dark. I should head home. Once you've settled on a design, please have Madame Elshie contact me at your convenience. Ah, right. Speaking of Madame Elshie, she asked me to pass you the Londinium daily. Farewell. Might as well see if there's anything else newsworthy today, I suppose. A vicious brawl in Norport Borough. Is that?
Fucking hell! That's bloody ridiculous is what it is! It's the third time this month. An accident after accident here in the factory ever since that scoundrel took over the Union. Watch close enough and you start to notice how whenever some brave soul puts out a complaint about the Union, he ends up dead in some freak accident a few days later. Let's go then already. Take me to him. I'm gonna see just how brass this bastard's balls are.
Calm down. The Union handles Union business. The street handles street business. That's the rule.
Giving every bastard I see a right trashing's my rule. I know. Of course I know. But we've got no other choice. The Union's keeping it all hush-hush inside the factory. Not even the coppers can investigate.
This new foreman, Johnny, right? Who's behind him?
I remember hearing he's got some big name backing him. A relative of Duke Cavendish, apparently.
Do you mean Duke Cavendish?
Yeah, that's the one.
Is he trying to get anything out of you lot?
Hasn't been asking for money or any of the sort, but ever since he became foreman, lots of the important jobs are getting taken up by workers from outside.
I see. You head on back. We need to talk this over a bit.
What are you waiting around for, Morgan? Are you gonna let these bastards do as they like?
It's not that simple. You heard the man. This isn't your average Union tosser. He's got the backing of a duke. Why is he going out of his way to play tyrant in some little factory, though?
Who cares why? Since when did we need a reason to take out buggers like him?
I know Londinium's rather restless these days. The dukes have been playing their games around the clock. Don't tell me you haven't noticed all these fresh faces on the street lately. Time to come up with a plan, Vina. We're all ears. Since we've taken their protection money, it's up to us to do the legwork. Let's go have a chat with this bastard of a foreman. Doesn't matter if he's got a duke behind him.
That's more like it.
Alright, if you say so, Vina. But just to be safe, we should scope up the factory a bit. Get some info. You with me, Bert? Sure.
Hey, why didn't you ask me?
What's wrong? You've been looking rather glum lately. It's nothing. I was just thinking I might be enjoying myself a little too much. What, not too happy here? You have a duty, Siege. I've told you before, Doctor. I found a life for myself now, so why? Is this life of yours helping your neighbors seek the justice of the streets, then heading to the noble manors to lob a few bricks? There's no escaping some things. You promised me you wouldn't talk about this in the gym. Then I'll stay by your side, waiting for the day you have your answer.
Life is long, but the pivotal moments that change you, they're over in an instant. I recall that one afternoon, before the chaos of the storm struck us, when we could still enjoy those peaceful hours. Indra didn't speak to me the whole day on account of my hesitation. Baird had to step in and smooth things over between us, and by nightfall we were all happy as could be, buying hot dogs and beer. But I couldn't shake off the feeling that the Glasgow gang was about to enter the craziest chapter of this story yet. It wasn't until those wild dreams of ours came to an end that I realized the most pressing issue. The main character of this tale wasn't the Glasgow gang. It was Vina. Just Vina all along.
What's the matter, Alshi?
Did you not instruct us to keep a close eye on Her Royal Highness Alexandrina's whereabouts? The chief of the Royal Police has just looked over the case file of that ghastly brawl in Norport. It involved a video shop known as McLaren's Place and a street gang going by the name of Glasgow. Here is the original copy of the file. It's rather vague, merely a record of the involved parties, but I thought you ought to know. Upon a fuzzy black and white photograph, a woman sucking on a lollipop stares indignantly at the camera. Person of interest, Siege, self-identified. Miss Allerdale, if you are near certain she is Her Royal Highness, why not seek her out immediately?
And what then? I bring her back to Cumberland Manor, or send her off to Castor? Whether or not she is Alexandrina no longer matters. The dukes are watching her closely. She can escape them no longer.
It sounds to me like she would be swallowed by the city itself.
We'll be swallowed too, Alshi. I'm willing to bet we're not the only ones with an interest in her. This matter has long since grown out of my control.
Considering Duke Castor's orders, should you not find her and bring her to her grace?
I need some time to think, Alshi. I saw her once before. I saw Her Royal Highness.
But no matter how you put it, it was all such a long time ago. Things being what they are, is an unknown heir truly so important?
It's merely an inkling. From the very first time I saw her, so many years ago, I always believed she would change things. Let's go. There's a few workers I need to pop in on. I would also like to know how Her Highness has been doing these past few years.
Who's there?
The coast is clear. I've handled this side too. This is it, the place Charlie told us about. We heard some chatter. Lately the Union's been keeping a whole bunch of goods inside this old factory, like they were a smuggling ring. Johnny sees control of the Union, not just to skim some funds, but to do this sort of business. What's inside those containers?
Just open them up and we'll find out. Hannah, slow!
Are those... Originium weapons? They're not standard Victorian issue. No idea of their actual provenance, though. Duke Cavendish's man sneakily taking over a factory also he can move weapons from God knows where into Londinium. What's he playing at here? The Duke's quietly stockpiling weapons within the city can only mean one thing. And now we've left our fingerprints all over the place. What do we do now, Vina? Looks to me like it's something way bigger than we can handle. We can't handle it ourselves, but we can tell others. Got a light, Hannah? Bloody hell! You can still see the factory burning from all the way out here! This is no laughing matter, Indra. Of course it is! We messed up some wicked Duke scheme! We did something really big here. At least we can say we've done nothing wrong, yeah? Let the coppers handle the rest of it.
They say Londinium is so big it defies borders, but at times I feel it's rather small. Wouldn't you agree? Who would have thought I would meet you here, Alexandrina? Your Royal Highness.
Who are you?
I'm Aurel. I'm a humble guest at the Cavendish estate. Nobody in particular, and yet I would say I'm one lucky chap.
You know about the factory. You know what Duke Cavendish is up to.
Though I can boast of sharing some of the Duke's burdens, I was not wholly in the know about His Grace's plans for Londinium. However, at this moment, my only concern is you, Your Royal Highness Alexandrina. I must say, seeing Your Highness standing before me really does call to mind the sight of His Majesty all those years ago. You and he are so very alike. The same childish sense of justice, the same, price you must pay for clinging to it.
What do you want?
Your little adventure with your friends this evening? Hardly matters, I say. A few boxes of lost merchandise is hardly anything compared to meeting you. Come now, at the very least, I'll let your chums leave alive. How about that?
Why should I believe a word you're saying?
Excuse my impertinence, Your Highness, but the truth is you have no other choice. Or should I say, you're free to try and escape, but I will be keeping a close eye on your whereabouts.
No. Vina! What the hell are you doing? Stop swinging already! You've nearly beaten him dead! It's fine, he's still breathing. Vina, what's this all about? You will not get out of here. The factory, all this, it was all my doing. Nothing to do with anyone else. Are you having a laugh? Vina, what was he saying? Why do you keep calling you Your Royal Highness? Because she's the heir to the throne of Victoria. The daughter of the late King Alistair II, Alexandrina Vina Victoria. I didn't mean to hide it. I just thought it didn't really matter. You daft, mate? I'm not asking who you are. I'm asking why you try and shoulder all this by yourself. Hannah. Sounds like there's a long story you need to be telling us. Sorry. No time for that. Save it. We need to leave right now. Where can we go, though? Out of the city. Right now, this instant, immediately. I can't... We're nearly out of time. Once the police notice the factory is up in flames, they'll contact the defense forces and shutter each and every port. When that happens, we wouldn't be able to fly out even if we sprouted wings. Don't worry about Norpor. I'll hold the fort. Wait, Baird, you're not coming with? Hey, Morgan, say something, won't you? I get where she's coming from. The Glasgow gang's always going to be home to us, Hannah. Someone's gotta welcome you lot home when you get back, right? People are watching you, but I'm sorry, Vina. I can't protect you. Against real titans like them, the gang's nothing more than puny little musk-beasts. You were never a Norporter, Vina. Or should I say, never only a Norporter. I knew from the day you joined us. It's all my fault. I just wanted to protect you all, but now I've dumped a heap of trouble on your laps. Not wrong. If you're going to blame yourself, though, there's something I hope you keep in mind. Remember that you owe Norport. Remember that one day you'll need to come back here to repay everyone. I swear I'll come back.
Yeah, that's our turf after all. We'll snatch it right back someday.
But are you really set on coming with me? There's no need to tangle yourself in all this. I'm your trusted advisor, Vina. I'm worried for you. If anyone comes looking to bother you, you're gonna need me to help bash their faces in. Wherever you go, Vina, I will follow. Never forget, Vina. No matter where you go, the Glasgow gang will be with you. I'll keep this place safe. We want it together, after all. I promise you, Baird, I'll bring everyone back. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Here's to us. To the Glasgow gang.
To the Glasgow gang! Damn it all! My lady, it's the Duke of Cavendish's men. My lady, I'll contact headquarters right away, even if we must turn all of Londinium upside down.
Suppress this event.
Very well. I'm contacting the hospital. What? Suppress it?
I will have my men handle this. Nothing to come will have anything to do with the Norport police. Do not worry. The chief of the Royal Police will not come calling on you about this or anyone else on scene, for that matter.
Really? How can you be so sure,
While I cannot fix the future's course, sir, I can guide it towards a path of my liking. The city will soon be welcoming a host of visitors. Do you not have more important things to handle?
Alright, very well.
This too is part of your destiny, Vina.
When we found out about Vina's past, I was amazed, sure, but I was more pleasantly surprised, as it were. I could see the entire story in my mind's eye. A lost heir to the throne, a heroic fantasy rising from the streets. Stories usually start with someone leaving and end with a reunion, but reality begs to differ. When we stepped out on the road away from home, none of us expected the way back would be so fraught with hardship. I'm fond of the words Dagda spoke once we set foot on our home again, after many, many years away. History is like a sailing ship adrift, and every age sees its share of experienced helmsmen who think to change its course. But in the end, none will truly ever know where the sunset and the river will take them. Hey, who are you? Here to get some rounds in the ring?
I'd like to ask if this is where the Glasgow gang is based. I'm looking for Siege. If I understand things right, she's your leader?
This gym's only got one leader now. She's called Baird. Oh, wait a sec. Looking at your clothes, you're noble? Get out. You ain't welcome here.
Pardon me then. Wait. You're looking for Vina? You know her? I'm an old friend of hers. Vina's out on a trip. If you got something to say, I can pass it on for you. No, nothing in particular. It's just that as her friend, I'm concerned about her current situation. Please let her know I'm wishing her all the best when you can. Sure, she's doing fine. I'll tell her on your behalf.
Ellerdale turns and leaves the messy gym. She knows the woman there wasn't lying, because she saw the photo hanging on the wall and the smiling face upon it. It's not time yet. In her fit of absent-mindedness, that deep, resonant voice arises in her head once more. Ellersdale, Cumberland. You will meet Vina again someday. Alright then, and that is our introductory cutscene. So yeah, this one was pretty much covering mostly the events of how the Glasgow game came to... well, how the part of the Glasgow game came to leave Victoria behind, and then they would land at Rhode Island at one point. But yeah, that is the pre-story for the most part. And also for anybody wondering, I did decide for the memoirs, obviously it is Morgan writing them and stuff like that, but for my own ease and just delivery of the whole thing, I mean, it is a written piece of media that I'm going through essentially, in a sense, in quotes. So I decided to do just a regular voice for when it's the memoirs on screen, but when it's still Morgan speaking, then I'm just doing the regular shtick. But yeah, for the memoirs, I'm just gonna do a regular narration through them. Not gonna be doing any kind of voices for those. That's a bit overkill for them, and I think they come in a bit better in that sense, considering again it's supposed to be a book. Another thing I would point out from what we just saw in the cutscene, first off, the big CG with all of them like shooting the shit and naming cities and stuff like that. The one thing I want to point out from that picture is everybody is facing the sun in that picture. If I'm not gonna forget, I'm gonna put it on screen right now. But yeah, everybody is facing the sun in that picture, and only Baird is looking off into the opposite direction. Because of two things, obviously. Number one, she isn't around anymore. Number two is that she had to stay behind. So yeah, kind of fulfills two things at once with that little detail there. Also, another thing that I would point out is Clovicia, who is being a tiny little shady shit in the background. For those of you who still don't, or rather didn't make the connection yet, I will not say anything. I will leave it at that. It's gonna be more interesting to find out what potentially the thing behind Clovicia is and her grand picture in the whole thing. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that for now. We'll see if the story explains it later on, but yeah, gonna just leave it at that. Let's move on to our next note, shall we? GO1, Lingering Scores. Vina isn't afraid to talk with her fist. She's always first into the fray. Let's begin. Londinium, abandoned factory, December 8th, 1098, 4:43 p.m.
Section G12. All these linkage numbers have faded away since this place was abandoned. Is this it? I'm praying I don't run into those damn devils again.
I think you're lost, lady. Hey, new guy, get her out of here. And while you're at it, ask her nicely how she found this place. Remember, keep your tail clean this time. Don't make the boss mad. You heard him, lady. Come with me.
Let go of me! Is this any way to treat a lady? Mikey Robinson, hero of the Exemplars, or rather one of the heroes, is my husband. He entrusted me to fetch some medicine. The medicine to dull the pain from those hideous black stones. He can hardly even walk.
Huh, yet another unlucky bugger. Shut it. Listen, I haven't heard of any Mikey. All you'll find in this blasted place are some bums' expired fun drugs and the dead devil's bones.
But...
Anyways, if you want a rip of the meds, go look for that newly built sanatorium. The new speaker lady promised it'd be stocked.
Wait, we really have no other choice. There's simply not enough medicine there. I know I can get it here. My husband, Listen, I have a few valuables stashed away somewhere safe, all from Cumberland Manor. The late Duke gave them to us. If I could just get some medicine...
Don't give a reason for the defense forces patrolling out there to come sniffing around here. Just go already, lady.
Make her sign the list, then let her come by tomorrow to pick up the meds.
Yes, boss. But what if she doesn't have the money?
We do it the old-fashioned way, then.
That's weird. I don't think the boss ever stuck her nose into this sort of thing. What should I... Huh. Just give her the contract.
Thank you, Wait, these clausules... My husband never mentioned them. If I sign this, then we...
You live well, at least before we come calling for our due. Seems that hero husband of yours wasn't quite so honest with his better half, huh? Come on, hold it pen steady. If you can't, we can sign it for you. The mercenary holds her writing hand tight. The trembling overtakes her. She can no longer maintain her veneer of calm. She shuts her eyes, grits her teeth, and lets the mercenary guide her hand. Go on, enjoy your life. Bloody war is over after all. Asking Milskar for help will be the best decision you and your husband have ever made, lady. This morning, Londinium's interim health secretary cum provisioner General Madame Major was found dead in her office in New Auchterich district. In today's parliamentary session, Madam Speaker Lesingdrina expressed her support of Madam Major's work in caring for the infected and lamented her untimely passing. The final point in Madam Major's itinerary before she passed was a trip to the Dukedom of Normandy to discuss a purchase of medicine so as to relieve these shortages within Londinium's walls. But according to some reliable sources, Madam Major died of an acute neuropathy attack. Not only did she conceal her infection, she was also often seen arguing furiously with the speaker in recent times. In this sensitive period where the number of reported infected within the city is growing exponentially, it is clearly worth looking into the death of Madam Major, who had lost her hereditary peerage. Even now, 2 months after the Sarkaz's withdrawal, why are their sinister plots coming back to the fore? As for the exemplars, are the terms of the resettlement program still not finalized? All eyes are on the newly appointed speaker, who has won the backing of a majority of the dukes. We have managed to connect with the speaker's close confidant, Miss Kate Morgan, digging deeper into... The broadcast in the speaker's office suddenly falls silent.
Those louts are a real crock of shit, I tell you! They were loafing about the sanatorium cafeteria waiting for me to sit down for lunch before they tried to wheedle some info out of me. Then you beat the hell out of them. I thought... that way they wouldn't dare run their mouths on the news again. Sorry, I didn't think about how it affects the way everyone sees you. No, I would have kicked them out too, literally. Huh? But... it doesn't matter what you say to those news hounds when they're in the business of making up fluff. They've already decided what to put in their latest story a long time ago. Since there's no way of shutting them up, might as well get straight to the point. Vina strikes her two fists together, putting herself through the paces engraved in her instincts with ease. Just like she always did back in the gym. Haha, that's the Vina I know. I knew it, Hannah even said. Whoa! These clothes really do get in the way. Maybe I should find someone to make some alterations. I happen to know a pretty good tailor. He made clothes for the royal family when he was younger. Luckily, he made it through everything alive. Shame nobody dares hire him nowadays. Infected as well? Yes. Yeah. Any progress on that thing you mentioned in your message? The situation is complicated. We've captured the Sarkaz who have been hurting people. They're now cuffed in the Cinecel's Parliamentary chamber. I suspect this might have something to do with the gangs operating out of the abandoned underground factories. Milscar. As for whether or not the Duke of Normandy's heir is behind all this, she and I will resume negotiations. Madame Major's death, the Londinianers' medicine supply, as well as Milscar's gang and those Sarkaz. There's a lot of things to handle in this city, and none we can solve with our fists like we did 2 months ago. You've settled into the job quick, Vina. I believe Parliament, as it is now, can manage these issues, so relax. I'm here to help you. Mother taught me how to handle this sort of situation. I won't let her down. Morgan? I'm heading over to Parliament. See you there. She's not quite used to this sort of life yet. None of us are. There are some things Siege could do that this so-called speaker can't. How's the victim of the Sarkaz attack? In the care of our colleagues at Rhode Island's medical department. No life-threatening complications for the time being. Moreover, we've traced the source of those low-quality medications. Most of them came from Milscar. Many turned to them in desperation, but in the end, all they got was a pile of harassment from the gang of wandering goons. As for whether this Milscar is in the know or if it's the work of some overeager underlings, I'm not too sure. Allerdale knows.
Milscar, the wildest villain running rampant in Londinium's shadows. Allerdale, she's dead. The final furious flame of Cumberland, the ever on high. Vina herself has already forgotten when the figures behind those two names slowly became one. Was it when the war was nearly over? She subconsciously paused at her clothes. By the time the Exemplar's heroic leader walked out of the Palace of Vestalag wearing this old suit of royal armor, she had already torn down the flag of Casdale's military commission at the break of dawn, and had seen a familiar figure and the steam knight fade away into the all-encompassing vapor. That day, Allerdale did not go to her. Rather, she turned and disappeared into the shadows of the ruined city.
Let's go to Parliament.
The Sinneseld, once a royal estate often rented by nobles as a banquet hall. It wasn't until everyone was dealing with the headache of where to house Parliament that Vina realized there weren't many choices left for the Londinianers. The chaos of war had destroyed far too much of the city. I've seen this room many times before on posters and in movies. I used to be astonished by how massive it was, big enough for every gang boss to bring all their boys and girls in to sit down and have a chat about their turfs. But now it disappoints me. It's filled to the gills, all cramped and suffocating. Though Vina's never admitted it, I know her and I are of like mind. Miss Morgan.
Huh?
I didn't mean to interrupt your writing, it's just that Barnaby's late again. I'm thinking of going to look for him. I'm worried he's gone and gotten himself soused again.
Well, Vina's not here yet. If you're gonna look, go look. No need to ask me. Wait! Now that I think about it, you said the same last time, and the two of you never came back the entire session.
We were just locked out last time. In all honesty, Miss Morgan, I've been carrying around the factory's design sheets for near my entire life. If you ask me to do a quality inspection, I'd know all the ins and outs of whichever part you like, and there wasn't a foreman out there who dared to say I was wrong. But sitting here with those lords and ladies trying to read these documents covered in gobbledygook so we can manage such a ridiculously huge city. Biggest thing I've looked after in my life was my workshop. God, my heart's pounding like mad.
With us at your back, why be scared of some tosspot nobles?
An elegantly dressed member of Parliament's eyes meets Morgan's gaze, and she smiles and nods her head in greeting.
Fine weather we're having today. I hope you are all in good health. Ah, yeah, good health to you too.
We're fine, just fine, thanks.
Well, just treat it as helping Vina fill the seats. I suppose they're not all tosspots, but keep in mind that we put our lives on the line to take back the right to sit here. Are you seriously thinking of going back to the days before that? If so, I'll have to sort you out first before these bastards ruin the city again.
Alright, I get it. Are Miss Indra and Miss Dagda not showing up today?
They're busy handling some public safety stuff.
I'd better hold my hammer tight and go back to bed too.
Oh, Madam Speaker, you're here. What's this? Vina! Wait, who's that you're carrying?
Barnaby! Oh, Clive!
Help him to his seat, Delphine. He drank until he passed out in front of the Synosate's doors. Now he won't let go of Vina.
I'm waiting for a speaker. I've got a whole lot of proposals to help with the meds shortage.
Then you should include them in your formal petition. We reformed the rules issued by Parliament, also we could bind ourselves.
Lady Delphine, I swear Barnaby's here not trying to be a simpleton on purpose. He and I have talked about this, about his ideas loads of times. He's just like me, sick to our stomachs the moment we step foot into this bloody place. Like the soul was getting sucked right out of us. It's not just that we can't speak right. All the brass courage we had while chopping down devils is gone. So I came up with this stupid idea that maybe a bit of drink would.
Relax, Vina's not going to get mad over something like that. Right, you needn't worry. Parliaments nowadays is incredibly complex by nature. Everyone here is on the lookout, getting used to things and learning on the job. That includes the speaker. If we're going to defeat those who wish us ill of the battlefield, we're going to have to learn how they think. It's not going to be an easy process for any of us. The two of you have done pretty well, all things considered. What if we become them once we learn enough about them?
I certainly won't, Miss Morgan.
I'm not saying you will, Clive. I can't guarantee that won't be the case, Morgan. Nobody can. I believe in Vina, so do Hannah and Dagda. I don't care what you all think. I'm sure we're all very clear on why we have convened this emergency meeting. Ever since Parliament was re-established, we have worked around the clock to resolve the issue of the Sarkaz who continue to operate within Londinium's walls. We gave our citizens a promise of safety. It matters not if it is the Sarkaz or roving mercenaries such as Milskar hiding within the city. Parliament will strive to settle the matter. We will brook no evil that threatens the safety of our people.
You're putting me on trial?
There will be no trial, Sarkaz. Parliament's new interim bill dictates how we handle you. The provisional court has passed it as well. You will be dealt with in a manner that all agree upon.
Not everyone. Just you people.
You caused grave injury to a kind-hearted shopkeep, all for a loaf of bread he had already set aside for you.
He's still alive?
He is.
Good. So, when's the execution?
You really should have left with the rest of your kind when the war ended.
You still remember me? Of course you do. You were the one who let me go during the big retreat after all. I'd say you were my savior, head of the exemplars.
You...
Longshot. That's what my daughter calls me. You didn't ask me my name at the time, and I'm betting the people sitting by your side don't give a damn what it is. But I'm going to ask everyone here something on behalf of a few others. Are Sarkaz born and bred in Londinium, who have never left the city, still considered Victorians? To be honest, I've never really thought about that question. The Sarkaz who calls himself Longshot never yelled or shouted, but the rowdy chattering chamber went dead quiet as he spoke. I looked at the people all around me, paying special attention to the noble's expressions. Those who had long made up their minds on the issue didn't feel like speaking up. As for those who hadn't, the more nervous of them had their eyes darting about, waiting for someone else to speak up first. But me? I was part of the third kind of people. I didn't have to make up my mind, because Vina did do it for me. So that day, all I had to do was wait for her answer. Just like the time I was up on the city walls, watching the Sarkaz troops leave the city, waiting for her to give me an answer. I don't think I'm ever going to forget that sight, so long as I live. Back then, I also had a question for Vina. Why are we allowing those Sarkaz who killed Bear to leave with so much pomp and circumstance? She never said anything that day. Atop Londinium's walls, October 8th, 1098, 8:48 p.m. The Sarkaz troops are leaving. The airship's shadow looms over the silent, orderly soldiers, the lifebone tearing ripples through the dark clouds hanging above the ruins outside the city. Vina stands atop the walls, quietly watching them march into the distance. Not too long ago, they were tearing apart her home. The land is scarred and slick with blood. How many years will it take to recover from the wounds Amnanan left on Londinium?
I don't know what you and the doctor talked about, Vina, but there's still time to beat the shit out of all those bastards! Our men and the boys from the Ducal Alliance are still waiting down at the foot of the walls. Just... Hannah, we're the ones who most need to stay calm right now. I'd like more than any of you to keep them here, but truth be told, we simply can't do it. The Duke's main fleets haven't retreated too far, Delphine. Like right. They can hem and haw all they like, but once we start the fight again, they'll have to help us out, even if it's just keeping up pretenses. Then, are you going to let these people who fought so hard to survive the war just throw their lives away? Don't forget the ceasefire agreement. Now's not the time to act recklessly. All you ever say is don't. Screw this, screw it all! I can't take it any longer. All those people are friends, Bear.
Indra stays not a moment longer. She fears she cannot stop herself from sliding down the walls to join the crowd below. She fears she cannot stop herself from leading the charge, pulling her battle-worn yet battle-hungry fellows back into the fray.
Hannah. She's been bottling herself up this whole time. Don't worry, Vina. I'll go keep an eye on her. She's just venting. She's not the foolhardy type. Vina, why are we allowing the Sarkaz who killed Bear to leave with so much pomp and circumstance? This is the best the Doctor and Vishadel could get us. Londinium cannot withstand another war. There's enough dead already. You know this, Vina. Tell the Exemplars no rash action from anyone. Doctor?
Rhode Island received a few invitations from the Dukes. They want us to sit in on the post-war conference on handling Londinium.
Handling... You mean before all the Sarkaz are even gone? Are they really in such a rush? I don't think the city is as it is now is willing to play ball with their machinations.
They realized that too. That's why they chose you. You could always refuse, Vina.
This is my home, Doctor. Made your decision, Vina. Wasn't it made the moment we led the exemplars on our charge into the city? They know it, and I do too. It's not something to take lightly, but you have my full support.
Then Rhode Island will attend the conference. We'll stand by your side.
Thank you, Doctor. I suppose you're saying the biggest challenge is yet to come? I'm supremely curious as to what they'll spew out of those pretty little mouths of theirs.
We'll meet you as soon as we can.
Coming home's not always easy, is it?
Palace of Vestalag, October 8th, 1098, 7:28 p.m. Shortly after the war.
This was a resplendent place 26 years ago. At the time, the dome above was polished to a mirror sheen, and the radiance of the twin moons and the enchanting darkness of the starry sky dancing together was a most beauteous sight. Once I kissed the back of His Majesty's hand here, paying respects to King Alistair. A rare honor indeed. Victoria no longer has a king, my lady. Or should I call you the Earl of March? Just Eleanor is fine. I did not beg His Grace the Duke of Normandy for the seat of County March to hold the title of Earl, but rather to expedite a few business matters, Your Highness. If it were not for that farcical royal hanging, we might have been much closer, Vina.
She takes out a gilded purple business card, its face embossed with nothing more than a golden loosestrife flower.
Please, take it. Since you're more accustomed to do things in a businesslike manner, this might put you at ease. I'm afraid we are not so well acquainted. Do you all always decide the future of Londinium here, my lady? It was never up to me where we meet. Besides, considering all that's happened here, surely there is nowhere else more suited than this.
Eleanor looks at the faded statues and dusty doors at the end of the hallway, as if she could capture their past glory. In the room beyond was the King of Victoria's throne. Upon it he once sat, dictating the rise and fall of the Empire. But what remains behind those doors now?
I arrived early to both walk down memory lane and to meet with you. We have much to talk about. Did you not wish to meet me too? You know I'm holding a... Vina, surely your friends from Rhode Island have divulged what the other dukes are thinking to you? The other dukes? I don't see much difference between you, them, and the Duke of Normandy backing you. Oh, don't get me mixed up with this Grace. He's a man worthy of respect, but it's not worth bothering him with trifles such as handling Londinium. As for the rest of them, I dare not say I'm worthy of comparison. The Sarkaz withdrawal does not mean that Londinium's troubles are over. None are willing to tally up the change in the infected population, but the outcome is rather clear. Victoria's pharmaceutical production lines are insufficient, and nobody wants to rework their precious factories for the sake of the infected. You know what I mean. What do you mean? I have a long-standing partnership with the Colombian military. They've even referred me to several pharmaceutical companies. There is no crack that cannot be plugged. For the right price, of course. Is that a threat? Only if you think it is. Don't be too hasty to respond. Figure out what bargaining chips you have first before you come to find me, Vina. Let's start our future partnership on the right foot. Oh, and you can tell just by looking around that your family won't steer the course of all of Victoria from this ancient palace. Your Royal Highness Alexandrina, Londinium is far too small for you.
The city is far too large, if you ask me. It shames me to admit, but the wailing I heard all across Londinium had me quaking in my boots, and in a panic I went the wrong way. Oh, so many tragic sights in this city. You really have grown, Ellie. I still remember how you used to clamber up my back and grab onto my antlers.
I am ever grateful for your generosity. His Grace, the Duke of Normandy, also reminded me that he is off to convalesce in greener pastures. You may join him, if you wish.
I'm not one to leave my manor before I've drained my wine cellar dry of the fine vintages within.
And here I was thinking old Normandy would understand the importance of this little meeting of ours. But no matter. You are the reason we have gathered here today, Alexandrina.
Your Grace didn't need to cut to the chase quite so quickly. The old soldier's running late. Did you refuse your invitation again?
He turned his eyes away from Londinium a long time ago. I'm sure your spies will have all the details of my meeting with him served to you with breakfast tomorrow. Yet even now, his elegance is no less impressive than the time Gaul was swallowed whole.
I wouldn't consider this a good thing for Victoria. Tara and Dublin, though he has not explicitly declared independence from Victoria, only the blind fail to see the reality of the situation. Abercorn and Fife suffered tremendous losses, and so have forfeited the right to take part in the big decisions. And the one behind Ashworth has decided to stay far from any sort of turmoil. As for Normandy, his stance is rather clear-cut. Gododin smiles at the young duke. Eleanor simply performs the most minute of bows in return. Aye, the vagaries of life. Back in those days, we still held parliamentary banquets here, and King Alistair still sat in the throne room. No one would take his words lightly. In the dark and dusty hall, Duke Gododin lively taps out a beat etched in his memories with one foot, just like in days past. Smoke, music, and the sunlight shine upon him from the dome above. He was a spirited young man back then, with all the lords and ladies at the feast lined up to be his dance partner. Even His Majesty applauded him. Then, together with the other dukes, he sent the king to the gallows. No need to memorialize the dead, your grace. His orphan stands before us, does she not? Aye, so she does. What does it matter if Victoria has no king? The siege. That's all I can call you until you accept our proposal. There are better ways to implement your ideas on the infected, the refugees, even those pain in the arse Sarkaz. Madam Speaker.
Should I consider this advice from the will of the Empire?
Call it an attempt at giving some. We have other means to handle this near-ruined city.
This is not a lifetime appointment. We will judge whether or not you are fit for the position. Just like the past, no? With your dinner table parliament, a handful of dukes could dance around a king behind closed doors, deciding the nation's future on a whim. And the results? Look outside. We have not yet washed ourselves clean of all the Sarkaz blood.
You look only at the little city, while I look at the whole of Victoria. If Londinium has become an ulcer sapping Victoria's strength, I do not mind gouging it out. I will allow other nations to see Victoria bleed, but I will not tolerate them mocking our scars, nauseating though they may be. If you stand in a sewer, you cannot expect to have full view of an ancient empire. Do not forget that the family named Victoria is no stranger to me, Your Royal Highness Alexandrina. Only the strong and the heroic have the power to steer the empire on its future course. Let's not frighten our future friend, Your Grace. Let me gather here to soothe our worries in a more pleasant manner. Old Wellington is far from the core, Vina is in a constant state of uproar, and the rest are keeping an eye on how we stand. Since it's rare for us all to see eye to eye on the matter, let's keep things simple.
That I cannot deny, but Vina, you can do far more than this.
Though this doesn't mean the speaker must sit on the throne, Ellie.
Are you all finished?
She draws her sword and the hall falls deathly silent. Vina insisted on recording some minutes for that secret meeting. It was a meeting to decide Londinium's future, so her residents had a right to know what happened exactly. I stood there in my hiding spot, trying to note down every word as impartially as I could, but when I saw Vina draw that sword from her hip, pointing it at those bastards who thought they knew it all, I hoped from my deepest heart that she would strike them all down. That way, what came next might have gone differently.
My teacher once told me the size of kings was used to behead rebellious nobles. No, not the size of kings any longer, though I do not know what to call it now. I have not the right to name it, as it was the workers who forged it, to commemorate that victory whose painful sting has not yet left us. At first, as it lay forgotten upon the muddy battlefield, I thought its duty had ended. But those heroes who lost everything still remember it, because it symbolizes the Victoria held in their hearts. They do not wish to see her laden with dust once more. I know what they intended when they gave it to me. They wanted me to judge in their stead, judge those who brought them to desolation and ruin. But you don't fear it, do you? It was never the sword you feared.
Vina gently caresses the flourishes on both sides of the sword's crossguard, every detail sculpted by the artisans of Londinium. A hammer and a sword, they glimmer in the darkness.
So long as the sword gleams, Victoria's honor will shine eternal. They begged my aid in reforging the sword, broken to the point of no return, using my hammer as its core. Once reforged, they offered it to me without hesitation, but at the time I could make no promises. King, speaker, as far as I'm concerned, neither title is worth a damn. I'm no different from them. I'm just a woman who wanted to go home. And when I made it back, what did I find? I didn't see the Grand Victoria you do, but I did see infected children in the boxing gym, hoping to learn pugilism so they could defend their homes, and drunkards, mouths full of rotting teeth, donating the drinks they had stashed away to the hospitals. Also soldiers on the operating table could be saved. The glory of Empire has long since left us, so far in the distance it can no longer warm our beds in the winter chill of the new year. The sword is the duty they entrusted to me. I need neither parliament nor royal authority to know what I must do. I will do what I can to show them the power they hold in their hands, to make them understand the land is theirs to protect. But until that day comes, I must stand at their forefront, no matter what title I bear. Severus too may bloom, and so, here, in my home, I will not be lectured by the likes of you.
Vina firmly plants the sword into the ground, its point passing through the stone like butter. It stands tall before the dukes. All eyes fall upon the quivering sword. A very clear provocation from Vina. Realm blade and miracle. In the wake of the war, those two words have become joined at the hip. Rather than the late king's orphan, they are much more concerned about Vina's other identity. Well said, my lady. There's really no point in us keeping the sword nowadays. Best you pull it right out. No point in nicking such a fine blade. Your teacher really did give you a practical education. It seems we were worried over nothing, Duke Castor.
Indeed, a rather childish way of doing things, but one that will win over the people. Parliament will see her mature faster than ever. Wait just a bloody minute! We have no choice, Siege. Sunder Victoria needs a new voice, and you have stepped forward. But I have seen many die by their own blades, leading me to think long and hard about taking up that particular one. Do not let it cut you, Madam Speaker. That is my advice.
She's more clear-headed than your graces think. I'd say you've done pretty well so far, Vina.
Doctor?
Pardon me, Your Grace. We were unable to stop the doctor.
You are dismissed.
Londinium needs a leader who can protect everyone. You cannot rely on anyone else.
Doctor.
The final decision is yours, naturally. We will do everything we can to help the infected here.
How interesting. A pharmaceutical company specialized in neuropathy that often dips its toe into areas outside its expertise. You circumvented the Ducal Alliance and tendered a ceasefire with those Sarkaz.
Well, there was no reaction from your Grace's fleets. You assented to it, did you not?
Merely a gift, as thanks for all you have done on the battlefield. There are some lines that must not be crossed.
We will await your answer, Siege. As for Rhode Island, you lot have been keeping quiet for a while now. Why the sudden urgency?
Time itself makes for irrational decisions.
Oh, time, is it?
Vina, have a good think about what the people you're still protecting really need. And remember, if you do make your decision, don't get too close with those Rhode Islanders.
I believe we have a good relationship with Duke of Normandy, my lady.
That's exactly why I'm warning Vina, Doctor of Rhode Island. She's not quite like the other dukes. So, what should we do now, Doctor?
You already have your answer, don't you, Vina? It's not good for Rhode Island to get more involved in Londinium's affairs. Army has already left for Consdale. Most of our staff will withdraw from Londinium ASAP. The Senate, Parliamentary Chamber, December 8th, 1098. It's been a long time since Babel took my brothers away. As for us who stayed, it's been real rough lately. Just do it already. I've got nothing else to say. He looks all around him, watching the people on their benches whisper to one another uneasily, an unconscious sneer on his face. This place fettered him, and in its magnanimity, it had also fettered those who would decide his fate. Not too long ago, Vina vetoed a proposal to use the Palace of Vestalag to house the Parliament, instead choosing this building, oft rented out by the royal family. Since she hoped this would be the starting point of a new Parliament.
I finished looking into him, Vina. Longshot, a lifelong mercenary, hails from a place in Glasgow called the Scar Market. During the war, he took part in defending the city in the name of the military commission. He never saw the front lines. 2 months ago, Babel organized a withdrawal effort. He didn't follow them. Instead, he got captured by Indra and Dagda while covering for some local Sarkaz as they evacuated. You really did save him. I don't remember that. After he committed this latest crime of his, we followed his trail and found the people he was hiding. His daughter has been helping a few Sarkaz leave the city these past 2 months, but this time she's part of the group sneaking out herself.
Fuck.
You attacked the shopkeep who recognized you for supplies, didn't you? Restrain him! Don't lose your temper just yet, Longshot. Your loved ones managed to slip through our fingers. Someone's helping them. Milskar. Sounds familiar, right? Their business is creeping into places they shouldn't be creeping into.
I don't know a damn thing, Feline. Just kill me already. I'm worried my blood's going to get this pretty little place all dirty. The war's just ended and you're already trembling at the sight of some red. None of you sitting here have even 1/10 of the honesty of the Sarkaz you refuse to call Victorians.
Just leave the rest to me. All right.
Any new instructions from Her Grace on the latest going-ons in the city?
Her Grace has long since been aware of the trouble the Sarkaz and this Milskar has been causing, and she is very concerned about the safety of the citizens. But now Parliament is fully assembled, and since the Speaker has been doing a fine job of solving the issues plaguing the citizenry, she believes things will improve. However, when it comes to rooting out the risks against Londinium's safety, Her Grace is of the opinion that we should not tarry, especially in regards to Milskar. And so there are still problems in the city that we must urge the Speaker to resolve sooner rather than later.
Milskar Hideout, December 8th, 1098, 6:05 p.m. Boss, Parliament hanged the devil, but we managed to snag the stuff he left for us. These goods,
Send them out.
But boss, that's way too risky right now. Parliament's been trying to sniff us out 24/7.
Then hide them for a spell. They've paid their due, so we'll get them delivered. No need to worry about anything else.
Nobody knows about this batch anyway. Maybe we can just... The mercenary gestures at his neck, but a sharp pain accompanied by a chill suddenly prickles at his chin. Boss, I had to say it, even if you kill me. That's the best way to handle things. Didn't those devils kill a whole bunch of our people?
If you really cared, you'd be on the exemplars list of decommissioned soldiers not here. But there's nothing wrong with caution, I suppose. With the new Speaker so concerned about the city's safety, we're an inevitable target alongside the Sarkaz.
Those devils brought it upon themselves, though.
2 months ago, they decided not to withdraw alongside the rest of their kin. Now that things are heading south for them and they finally wish to flee, it's natural they have to pay extra. Don't worry, if this goes well, more and more business opportunities will be coming our way. You're back. How'd it go? Did you manage to get any?
Sanatorium's as full as a tin of fins. Everyone's trying to get their suppressants as soon as they can, not to mention what just happened to Madam Major. Sorry, Diane. Not even exemplars get special treatment. Rhode Island's been working around the clock to provide as many suppressants as they can, but there's just too many new infected.
I understand.
Well, it's not like we've got no way of getting any. I've heard from some war bodies that there's private channels.
Illegal ones?
Hey, as long as you live to see another day.
There's other means of buying medicine? Huh. My boss never told me we'd have competitors.
Huh. Sure you didn't hear me wrong, mister.
Sorry, my trip from Colombia must have tired me out too much. Hello, I'm Eliseo. Here, my business card. Colombia? Pure Heart Medical? That's right. I rushed over to Victoria to find... one second, let me check my list. Ever since I arrived in Londinium, nearly everything's been different to how the preliminary briefings described it. Found it. Londinium's interim health secretary, Madam Major. Could you tell me how to get to the office of provisional supply procurement? Rest assured, I'm here representing Pure Heart Medical to discuss medical cooperation. The situation here will get better soon. Did I say something wrong? Didn't you hear the news? Madam Major has, passed away just this morning. Sorry. Sorry, I lost my cool for a second. No matter how hard we must strive, Pure Heart Medical's sincerity and dedication will not change. But right now, could you please take me to her office?
Alright, so that was a story sequence. Also, hope you all liked the inclusion in between the cutscenes for the CG cutscene that is part of the event's main menu. I usually always try to find a moment where it would be best to use the thing unless it's just super outside of the norm of anything. But after reading that second cutscene, the after scene for stage 1, I felt like that would fit in there perfectly because, well, of those line deliveries there. And speaking of those line deliveries, that was a power move. That was a power move, and the whole scene was epic. And then these stupid dukes have to be immediately, haha, you fell for it. That's exactly what we wanted you to do. God damn, give her a victory. Give her something. But yeah, anyway, despite that, it was a very cool scene. Vina standing up for the people and pretty much threatening the all of the dukes who were present. That one new duke is very interesting. I'm gonna put out there, and she also seems like she has all the aspects of a jester, and I kind of dig that. But anyhow, that scene was very powerful, despite the fact that the dukes obviously want someone to take over Londinium and keep it united, essentially, so that they can keep on, I don't know, do something in their own time outside and keep on being annoying little pests to each other, I guess. But yeah, very cool scene. Also, the doc is very present in the story, at least here at the beginning, which is something surprising. I wasn't actually expecting the doc to be present in this story too much, outside of maybe having a small cameo of talking to Siege and then disappearing at some point. But we'll see how much more the doc is in the story. Yeah. Also, the doc is continuing his bonding experiences with Monster. Very interesting. Very interesting is all I'm gonna say to that. I was expecting Kaltze to be there as well when Monster walked in with the doc, but no, it's just Doc and Monster. Just casually walking, casually on a date. it's wholesome. Look, I know I'm making those jokes. Like I said, I know future operators. But yeah, it's very wholesome. Regardless. But yeah, very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. And once again, very cool to see this. It's very cool to see this post-war scenario of all stuff. Of how people are dealing with this, how they're reacting to stuff, how they're essentially dealing with the city and the post-war and recuperating after it, reorganizing everything. That is an aspect that not really many games go into when you consider all things, you know. Cool shit happens, great war breaks out, and then we just skip to the end and say, well, they all lived happily ever after. Dun, 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 dun. Done. But yeah, anyway, very cool to see all of that. Also, one final thing before we continue to the next part is I want to point out the NPC or the character with blue hair that appeared at the end, the soldier by the name of Diane, the girl at the end. Do keep her in mind. The name will come back. Also, very quickly, Bobbing is in the story. I am actually also surprised about that. I was not thinking that Bobbing is gonna be in this story. I thought he's just someone on the banner together with them, but I guess we'll see how much more he is in the story. I can tell you right now, he will not be anymore in today's part. That's at least something I can tell you right now. But we'll see how much more he is gonna be present and how much more he's gonna be appearing. Very interesting. But yeah, anyway, let's move on. The next part is a training stage, and for that we will only read the title. It says, supply shortage. The streets of Londinium are not safe after dark. There are no lengths that some will not go to just for some canned food or medicine. Enemy-wise, we have a bunch of stuff here, beginning with the freight car. And by the way, there is some dialogue between the NPCs on this stage, but it's mostly like, hey, here is a tutorial and nothing else, so I will not be covering it with a voiceover. It's literally just the characters of the story giving you the tutorial how to do the mechanics. Anyway, freight car. The pride of Victoria's industrial automation, vastly improving transport efficiency between factories. Its designers traded defense for speed, trusting in Londinium's peace and stability. Then we have the Novice Junkman, citizens who only head into the ruins when no one is around out of a strange sense of honor. They hope to find things in the garbage dumps to tide them over through tough times. Then we have the Goggles Gang Thief. With factories shutting down and nowhere else to go, young workers started forming gangs. Everyone wears the same goggles needed for work, pretending not to know one another or the people they rob. So yeah, so far we're fighting pretty much homeless people. Well, that's great. Anyway, unequipped blade. Standard issued weapon components produced by Londinium's factories, not yet sent to the assembly line. Unsafe to hold before assembly, but still more threatening than empty hands. The protective vest, standard issue protective gear components produced by Londinium's factories, only large enough to protect one side of the body. Everyone hopes to nab a piece or two and sew them together before they suffer a serious blow. And the final one is the Assault Arts Unit, standard issue staff components produced by Londinium's factories, not yet sent to the assembly line, often malfunctions, but better than letting an infected cast arts with their bare hands. I guess nice? Anyway, let's continue on to our final scene for the day, which is the before scene for stage number 2, titled Crippling Illness. Sleepless nights due to pain are rare for the infected of Rhode Island. I used to think suppressants like that were available everywhere.
May the vast lands they keep our king, his people and all his well-willing ye, and give them grace without ending. Then may we call and safely sing. Victoria, give thanks for our home.
Throne Room, Palace of Vestalag, October 8th, 9:45 p.m. You've been humming that song ever since we stepped into the throne room. Do you like it?
Like is too strong a word. It's just left an impression on me. My foster parents would hum it by my bedside whenever I couldn't sleep. I thought it was a lullaby. It's only long after they've passed on that I realized who I was to them, who was their king. The song became a stranger from that day forth, but the tune has remained familiar. I would never forget it.
Do you still remember him?
The king? I'm not familiar with him. As for the man who is my closest blood relative, I won't lie, Doctor. I tried to piece together an image of my father in my memory. But when I saw him again with my own eyes, there was nothing familiar about him. He was a king, and I'm just a gangster from the streets. We have nothing in common, save for the name Victoria. There are more important things for me to think about. You've heard the Dukes talking. They're ready to abandon Londinium, my home, to whatever fate. This wasn't what I expected when Dr. Katsit got you out of Chernobog and got me to plan a return to Victoria. But I've come too far to let it go.
Responsibility is a curious thing. I can't let go of Rhode Island either. I guess in that aspect we're the same. The Dukes know you can't let go of the people who need you. They're counting on it.
And we're counting on them being obsessed with maintaining their own power. As long as their pride still needs the name Victoria, the city will have time to recover. It's a deal where the outcome is predetermined, and both sides of the table know that. It's the people who have had my back through all this that keeps me going. We're home. The war is over. It's time to listen to their voices.
Vina.
What is it, Doctor?
Perhaps the day will come when Rhode Island doesn't approve of the choices you make. And perhaps the day will come when you don't approve of the choices Rhode Island makes.
I know. Many of us find it hard to accept that you assisted Vishadel with the evacuation of the remaining Sarkaz. But this war can go on no longer. We've lost enough people. And we've heard Sarkaz' warning loud and clear. The ducal fleets held their positions during the retreat because they all got the news. Massive catastrophe clouds forming over the capitals of most of the core countries almost simultaneously. Talk about straightforward. They strode back to Castle in broad daylight. You and Dr. Katsit know what they could do with that piece of originium.
They won't abuse it unless their back is to the wall.
For self-defense only? Maybe they think that way, for now. But there is no such thing as a guarantee when one is in possession of power far greater than one can control. I've seen many gangs rise rapidly with the backing of the nobility, only to fall apart from the inside just as quickly.
That's why Amia is going back to Kazdal with them. She will keep the Originium under our oversight.
But you're not in a position to determine Sarkaz's destiny either. Both sides have been inflicted wounds that will not heal so easily. The young Sarkaz regent has gotten his wish. The Sarkaz are once again united by concrete hatred and obtained an Originium shard that belongs to them. Hatred always ends the same way. Where will you be when that time comes? comes.
A golden lion walks out from behind the darkened throne and crouches by its side. Gawain. It is like he was always here, like the reliefs around him, bearing witness to the Empire's rise and fall, all in the blink of an eye. And now his dark eyes have witnessed you.
Teacher?
This is the first time you've shown yourself before me.
No need to fear. I am neither a monster nor an illusion. I show myself now because I must. Vina has chosen a path that she had not even considered until now. She must grow, and you are in a position to help her.
Rodan is already assisting her work in Londinium.
That is not what I mean. I have no intention to interfere in Victoria's destiny, whatever it may be. But you have led her towards a confrontation with the destiny of Terra itself, on which hope is hard to come by. I promised one who is long gone to walk with her until the very last, but now even my own being is no longer a certainty.
We will try not to drag others into it.
I know Vina. When the day comes, she will stand with Rhode Island, and you will need her. But where will you stand when that day comes? There is no need to answer. She will witness on my behalf. You are neither her follower, nor mentor, nor foe. You already realize that the ties you share are one of a kind. Perhaps we can afford to wait for a chance at a fresh start, but Vina cannot. I have taught you how to survive, Vina, but I cannot teach you how to become hope. The one before you, however, can.
I know what I must do.
Then guide her, the one whom Vina trusts. You are the spark that lights her fire, the spring that drives her forward. Listen to this one, Vina, when you find yourself in doubt.
Speaker's Office, December 10th, 1098, 7:32 p.m.
What is this instrument, Vina? An engineering sample made by Rock says it keeps tired workers from growing drowsy. But how's that different from just taking a nap? Does it work?
Vina yawns, rubs her eyes, and continues to peruse the documents before her.
No. What does wake you up, though, is responding to some 40 petitions to eliminate the traitor Milskar. Have the citizens fighting over this outside calmed down? Yes, Horn brought a bunch of city guards newcomers straight out of training camp. Thank goodness it didn't get out of hand. It helped that these soldiers had families and comrades on both sides. I really don't know what the people who still support Milskar are thinking. No surprise, it was Parliament that went back on its own word first. We did have trouble with our medicine supply, and her stuff gave people hope. Only false hope, though. At first I thought you sent the defense forces to, crack down. Using violence to suppress innocent countrymen is the most cowardly and least effective method. Why are you looking at me like that? Just feeling dumb for worrying at all. Don't tease me. I've got a long way to go before I'm used to this role. Thank goodness I have a lot of help from people I can trust. My teacher, the doctor, and you, and many others.
She stretches, puts down rock sample, and lets out a long exhalation.
I would be stumbling in the dark without the intel from your informants and our Rhode Island colleagues. But Milskar, selling dangerous drugs of unknown origin, offering predatory loans, threatening the lives of the citizenry, and colluding with the Sarkaz. All the evidence lies in my drawer, all of it corroborated. She cannot be allowed to run unchecked just because some few benefited from association with her. Allerdale, It's not just her, Delphine. No one wants to see this hard-earned peace broken again after all we've been through. Parliament promised safety to the people. I know what must be done. Very well. An old friend has a lead on her that might interest you. By the way, I've gained serious consideration to the doctor's suggestion. Once things have settled down for a bit, I'll return to Windermere and take back certain things that have always belonged to me. How long will you be? I don't know, but the doctor is right. I need what Mother left behind if I am to help you, even if I was reluctant at the time of her death. Thank you. It's for myself too. Victoria, Windermere, Lincoln. I must see for myself that which Mother cared for so much about. It's the only way I can get closer to her.
Sir, please allow me to still call you that. I didn't think you would come to me. Did my application go through?
Walker, I've heard how Pitt and the others got you to leave the scene of the protest. I think...
So that's not what you're here for. Alright. Actually, I've been listening to the radio, sir. I heard about the artillery handover to the newly reorganized defense forces under your command and the newly constructed training plate outside the city. I went to see it myself. The facilities are superb. I can even imagine myself training there.
I'm sorry, Walker, but I can't approve your application to join the defense forces.
Sure, if I'm not up to standard, I'll redouble my...
You know your own health. Training and fighting will only make it worse.
My condition is under control. I'm taking medicine. I haven't felt any pain from the rocks for a while. I'm getting better.
Milskar's medicine, right? We've analyzed it and it's...
Nothing more than a painkiller, I know. But that's what we need. Parliament's medicine rations are running out, aren't they? At least, this makes me feel better for a while and lets me practice wielding a crossbow with one hand. I'll pass the defense forces test, sir. There will be hope as long as we make it back home, no matter how bloody goddamn hard life is. That's what you told me during the defense of Catalay. We are the exemplars. We make miracles. What about life after the miracle then? Where do the exemplars go? Horn said the miracle of the previous exemplars lived on in Gaul, in the textbooks of military schools. What about us? It was a question no one needed to think about before we truly returned to Londinium. When the city broadcast announced that the city belonged to the Victorians again, the youngest girl in my group asked me, "Where do we go from here?" I said we go home. I'll go back to the Slobberknocker with Hannah, Vina, and Dagda, and you get to go home too. But the girl told me, "I don't have a home anymore. I only have you."
Vina and the others are here. We ought to go down.
Vina? Speaker Vina? She's coming for me too? Because of the protest? Did you come to keep an eye on me, sir?
She came to help you because she knew Vina was coming. Same as all of us.
There is no warmth in Lodinium's sunset. The survivors do not remember if it has always been this way. Those who come after will not even question it. Once the shard was the pride of this old nomadic city. Now people pay careful attention not to step into its shadow. They all remember the day the terror itself descended upon its pinnacle beneath the burning red sky. Two walk side by side through the sparse crowd, the setting sun drawing long shadows behind them. Those they pass bow to them, then go back to the work at hand, humming. Then may we call and savely sing. Victoria, give thanks for our home.
The refurbishment of the shard seems to be proceeding ahead of schedule. Rodan helped a lot, providing medicine, taking in patients, and the engineering department has been helping with construction work in the city. The initial incident left such an impression on the people that the proposal to modify the shard met no significant opposition. And we're cleaning up the originium crystal growth in the city while we're at it. But the engineers of the Self-Salvation Corps say it'll take some time for things to go back to normal. Even the mobility layer is affected. Have we confirmed the retrieval team for the shard's core technologies? We have a preliminary list, but we're still doing background checks on some of the technicians and scholars. They have certain links, if you know what I mean. I do. The Dukes have given me a heads up. We'll turn a blind eye, as long as there's no serious issue. I for one am hoping that they find something worthwhile in the scrap heap. It will be a good thing for Victoria. And it's not such a bad thing for us if they started fighting over it. Vina, Delphine. Horn, I thought you were... I came to visit an old comrade. Don't mind me. I was just about to go and see how Bagpipe's doing with the new recruits.
Horn stretches but shows no sign of leaving. Vina sighs.
Vina! You would never guess what Walker and I talked about. You remember the Davises who came with us from Catalay? Well, their wife just gave birth. I know why you're here, Morgan. Walker and the protests are a matter for Parliament. It's not something I should get involved in. I'm just here to talk about the whereabouts of Milskar.
Thanks, but there is no need to make things difficult for Madam Speaker. I trust Parliament. I know many MPs. Fine people.
Parliament is not as simple as you think. There are those who would prefer to escalate the issue. But resolving the Milskar issue as soon as possible is in the best interest of everyone, including you.
The soldier who charged into the city with us stood in the setting sun, suffering our interrogation. We all know that Vina can influence Parliament, if she chooses to. That was the day when I truly realized that Vina had not belonged solely to the Glasgow gang for a long time. Maybe my Vina already said goodbye to us that afternoon. That day, all factories of the city came rumbling to life and steam gushed up to the sky. I saw her golden hair flying wild in the wind, blocking the fleeting tears in her eyes. She turned towards us with a smile and said, "We're home." We're home, but things have not gone the way we expected. Does going back home mean goodbye? Will we lose Vina?
The factories welcome us. There are survivors in the city. Why do you stand in our way? I'm sorry, Duke's orders. The exemplars must not act on their own until the Dukes have come to a conclusion. Why are you pointing your bow at me? Weren't we fighting side by side just a moment ago? What do we do? Is that a protest in the city?
Londinium, September 28th, 1098, 5:27 p.m. The city was angry.
The troops that stood in our way, are they falling back? The factories are waking up. I thought the Sarkaz had shut everything down. I remember these factories. I know where they are. I always will. That's Miles Industries on York Street, and that's Coppola Foods on Scott Street, and that's Consolidated Incorporate, Hankins, South Vicar Cargo. Vina, I thought they...
Those that were silent, those that had been abandoned, those that had been commandeered by the Sarkaz, and those that continued to run timidly. All the city's factories came alive at the same time, but the Sarkaz, hastily pulling back from the battlefield outside the city, had no time to notice. The steam that gushed out was the breath of steel and machine. The factories were roaring.
What's going on? They're helping us. Londinium is helping us. March on, exemplars. It's time to bring this to an end. This is Lieutenant Diane Weber of the 6th Column Tech Infantry Regiment. Lower your weapons, soldiers, and escort the exemplars in their advance. You're defying the Dukes? Before I was a soldier, I was a Londoner. This is my home too. Go, Siege. The fight is not over yet. We will take back what is ours.
The first squad starts lowering the crossbows, and they are soon followed by others who step aside to clear a path.
Exemplars, forward! We're home. Keep the factories running at full steam. Keep the Sarkaz at bay just a bit longer. The Dukes want people to think there's no Victorians left alive, justifying them sitting on their hands out there, but we'll make them hear we're still here. The people outside the walls will know we haven't given up yet. Thanks for the assist, Madam Catherine. You can trust our guys. Everyone has a trick or two up their sleeves. 9 and the others are working on the other factories. This whole city is about to rise up. Are you coming back, Feist? Is it on?
On it is! The other factories have also been restored, just as the doctor planned. It's not just the citizens that are helping us though. There are other people and they call themselves... Reunion? Well, I haven't seen the city so lively in years. I just got word that Alliance troops have cleared a path for the exemplars. That wasn't our orders. Are you happy with the test results?
It seems we have underestimated the influence of a miracle.
You should hasten our preparations then. Hey boss, looks like we don't have to cause a commotion anymore. They're letting the exemplars through.
Pull the ambush and give a hand to the factories we captured. Tell the people in charge that the boilers keep running until I say stop.
You got it.
Welcome home, Vina.
Speaker's office, December 10th, 1098, 9:28 p.m.
Speaker's office. Walker's fine. Parliament won't come down hard on him over this little thing, but tell him to stay safe. There's no telling if the people watching us might find him inconvenient to them. And, how are things going on over there? Good. We'll find you. Allerdale.
Well then, speaking of the epic scenes and stuff like that, that factory scene at the end was definitely something. Everything coming together, turning on at the same time, everybody helping in the background just to man the stations and the machines and get shit working. And then, like I said, Diane came back into the story. In a sense, she was the one who commanded the people, the military forces to stand down and let the exemplars into the city. So that's why I pointed her out. She was there when those factories came to life 2 months ago during the war. And yeah, we'll see how that's gonna develop, considering they gave this character a face and a name, and I'm terrified. That usually doesn't mean good things. She's also infected on top of it, so you know. Oh boy. And also another powerful moment. Gawain appearing not just before Vina after such a long absence, but also appearing before the dock. And proclaiming some cryptic shit there about special connections to between the Doc and Vina. Very interesting, and not the first pairing of Doc and a character where it's kind of like this is a special prophetic kind of connection that will lead down to some future where these characters will have to support each other through something. The other one comes from the Abyssal Hunter storyline, is all I'm gonna say. And yeah, go and explore that story. There is another similar kind of thing that is from there, and I wonder if there's gonna be more of these. It seems like there are special characters that will form like the bulk of some future conflict. Especially because Gawain proclaimed that she is now part of Terra's destiny, essentially. Which definitely means a lot more than just saying, hey, you're part of Londinium and stuff like that. No, you're part of the planet, of the planet's destiny. Go and do stuff. Here's a gun, go and do crime. Yippee! But yeah, anyway, that was a couple of very powerful scenes. And also, slowly creeping in through all of the memoirs so far is Morgan going a bit depresso espresso over potentially losing her and the Glasgow gang's connection to Vina, and Vina becoming more engrossed in politics and stuff. But we'll see how that goes. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention so far is that yes, Vina was very well aware of Allerdale for a while now, which is, I don't know, obviously do not say if it's gonna appear later. It's one of those things that I'm kind of like miffed that they didn't show the moment where she sees her. They only described her through Vina, like her spotting Allerdale. And it's one of those things I wanted to see them actually clashing, but on the other hand, this story so far has been a continuous back and forth in time, so maybe they're gonna jump back to the moment where Vina sees Allerdale and we see the shock and the confusion upon seeing her. But I guess we'll see about that. Because again, that's one of those moments I wanted to see. I've been anticipating that since episode 14. I wanted to see like these two actually, if these two will actually meet and see each other. Or rather, if Vina will see her and recognize her, and what will happen after that. But we shall see. We shall see what happens in the future story. Maybe maybe the cutscenes will jump back and show us the moment. I would really appreciate that if they do. But yeah, for now, this will be it for this first part. I will be slowly working on the next part a day after this this goes live. This was oh god, how many hours? Oh god, probably around 14 hours with a nap in between of non-stop work on just the cutscenes. Just the cutscenes, not these little fluff bits that I'm recording right now, the intro, outro, and the bits in between. No, just the cutscenes took me like 14 hours. And it's purely because this is a very serious story, and I'm trying to convey that. Speaking of also very serious story, because it's a very serious story that doesn't really have many, like, I would say so far the only reaction moment that I had was being flabbergasted by the conversation between Gawain the dog and Siege, and that was about it. Everything else was just stuff that I described in these moments in between the cutscenes. Nothing really too crazy, because so far nothing really demanded such a strong reaction out of me, outside of feeling very set up on seeing Baird. And I'm gonna keep on being set up on seeing Baird. That will forever hang in there. But yeah, anyway, TLDR, probably not gonna be any clips at the end of this episode. If there's gonna be something, if I dig something out of the raw reading, I might put it there, but probably not. I don't remember having any kind of crazy moments of reaction, so apologies if there's nothing in this episode. But yeah, anyway, this will be it for part 1. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, it will help out a lot. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. The entirety of Arknights is done on the channel. This is currently the newest story that I'm just covering. So if you want to listen to pretty much any side story, anything of the main story, anything of the intermezzi stories, go to the video section, type into the search field the name of the story you want to find, and you will find it, because there is everything on the channel. And enjoy! And yeah, thank you very much. And of course, if you want to support me even more directly, memberships are open. Thank you very much to the members already supporting. You guys are helping quite a lot. Thank you very much. And yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next part. Until then, I'm gonna go and edit this, and then sleep. So, bye-bye, and good night. 14 hours, Jesus Christ.
Let me have a think on how I tell the story my way.
Adorable. Fucking Siege, just resting bitch face. Oh, I just realized while I was taking the screenshot for this, everybody is looking forward, only Baird is turned away. Oh. Oh, that is painful. Hatred always ends the same way. Where will you be when that time comes? Oh shit. I was wondering who was saying that. Oh, Gawain appeared in front of the dock? Oh shit.
Listen to this one, Vina. When you find yourself in doubt.
That was amazing. Whatever that was just now, that was amazing. Holy shit.